Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Come on in. Come on in. Let's see. We have interesting access denied today. We got a lot to talk about. As we see, we are less than 20 days for school being over for the year, summer school happening, and everybody starting to get ready for August. Today, we'll talk about graduations. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Metro Nashville Public Schools, deeper updates about that. We'll discuss open line, which Sonia and myself had an opportunity to be on this earlier this week on Monday, and we'll play a recap of just what we talked about. And so again, come on in, share this out, and we will get this train moving. All righty. And so let's see who we have on here. I'm gonna just say good morning. All right, we got Ivory on here. Good morning, Ivory. We just talked to you last night. Thank you for jumping on. All right, see, we got Miss Offit. All right, cool. Like this thing, share it out so we can get more people on here.
John.
Yes, indeed.
We on live. Hey. I was gonna tell you something.
All right.
I ain't gonna tell you in front of everybody now.
All right. And just wanted to see how the week has been treating everybody. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. This week has been like the stock market. It's been some up days, there's been some around the way days. But how's your week started off, Sonia?
It's good. Seeing the movement grow, seeing the team grow, seeing we got to remember students are graduating.
Yes.
I got a graduate that is my second graduate. I had one from TSU May 1st. And this Saturday, my youngest daughter is graduating from Hunters Lane with honors. She is going to be attending the illustrious Tennessee State University and playing softball, and she is going on academic scholarship.
Wow. So
it is a milestone in our house that gets me emotional. She showed me her cords, cord and her cap and gown. And this has been a vision for my children, is that they graduate with honors. And my oldest daughter graduated magna cum laude from college. So
yes, man. Well, a lot of exciting times. High school, college graduation, getting ready for college. And so today, as Sonia said, we'll talk about, we want everybody to like our Twitter page. We'll pull that up, like it, share it out. Twitter is popping. We'll recap the News Channel 5 open line. As you heard, we want to hear from parents who have graduating seniors. We want to ask and talk about the plans for summer. What are you going to be doing? Is it Promising Scholar program? Is it a summer camp? Is it some high dosage tutoring? And then we'll just shout out the parents individually who came out to our campaign training last night.
Yeah, so everybody, if you can like and share, we got to get attendance up. We only have 4 people on right now. I know we're just getting started and everybody gets heated up and get on here. But right now, right this moment, I want you to like and I want you to share. Like and share. Like and share. Let's get people in here. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Let's get this thing started. At least 20, 25 people. We can do that. Let's go, parents. Let's go. Tag people. Do what you got to do. Let's get it up there.
I'm just sharing this out to a couple of groups.
Yeah, like, share. I'm getting ready to share on my personal page. I'm going to model, lead by example. As John. I'm following John's lead. Hey, grandbaby. Hey, Gigi, baby. What you doing? Yeah.
Yep, trying to get them to sleep. All righty. All right, I got it out. Let's see. Let me pull this through.
All right. Woo! Ooh, Tasha Baker, girl. I love that profile picture, that hair, honey. That color is beautiful. Where you been at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna get in your tail now. Campaign call was last night. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Miss Baker. Hey, Ivory, they go my little twin. That's my little mini me. She's baby Sonya. I can't wait to see her so we can hang out some.
Yeah, the world is opening up. World is opening up.
What up, champ? Hey, Cliff. The champ is here. The champ is here. Who said that? Ali?
The champ, yeah, I think it was Ali. Yeah. Yeah.
Way to show up, Cliff.
As he was antagonizing his opponent.
Yes.
Who had the championship belt, but Ali said the champ is here. And everybody here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you know, I love stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so one thing I want to go into, and we'll play a clip from it this past Monday, Sonya, is open line. And if you guys didn't get a chance to see it, check it out on our page. But we had an open line conversation with News Channel 5 just about things that have been happening in Metro. I mean, they checked out our Twitter. I'm pretty sure they saw the Monday update. And we had a candid conversation around what parents were expecting, what parents have been waiting for, and just where we are in the process now. And do you want to recap that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we've been waiting. We've been waiting on hearing the plan around the commitment that the district has made and what many districts are being held and bound and regulated to do, and that is to recover children from learning loss. What's the word they're using?
On what they're calling it, or what we?
Yeah, they're saying instead of calling it learning loss, now folk, because Black folk don't figure out what learning loss is. Now folk walking around talking about some outcomes or something.
Yeah.
Just because and they didn't want to change it until Black folks started talking about it. Y'all notice that? The stuff that they've been not talking to us about, and when we start learning about it, then they want to call it something else to kind of devalue us. And so, we're waiting on a commitment. We hadn't heard about a plan. Thank you, MNPS, for the dashboard.
Yeah.
We need to see the data. That's called accountability. We need to see that. We're asking for, let me rephrase that. We're demanding for the plan, the intervention, the details around how you're going to recover children, each and every last one of them. What does that look like from the central office? What does that look like from the school building to the teacher to the child and at home? That is what we're asking. We're not asking you for a resource bank. You cannot recover children from learning loss from a resource bank. We're just going to give parents resources. Where's the ownership in that? Where's the partnership in that? Where is the actual outcome in that? Yeah.
And that's the way I looked at it. When I went to the hospital when my knee was down, they brought me in, they did x-rays, they assessed the problem. And that's why I like the dashboard, because the dashboard gives you something right in your face. That shows just where you are on behavior, where you are academically, where you are culturally, where ACT map. But if you're looking at all this and you're saying, man, like we are in 60%, and we need to be at least at 70. Oh man, I'm in the 50% and I need to be at 70 on this map. looking at it, what's going to happen after that? And I think that's how I'm trying to explain it to people. It's like the dashboard tells you what the problem is, but the plan helps you recover where you're struggling at, or brighten up like what you're already doing well.
I was trying to see if I can tag somebody. Hey, LC, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Good to see you.
Yep.
Candace says they gaslighting parents.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I got another word for that. Mm-hmm. Y'all call it gaslighting. I call it BS, and I'm with PG.
And Sonya, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play just a little clip of the open line, just so people can see as you explain why we're pushing and demanding this plan, and then two, just the response back from the interviewer at that time. Let me pull this through.
Laboratory work. And then that physician puts a plan of care around that child with mom and dad. They don't leave them out, right? They do not leave them out. The mom may need to give some Tylenol every 4 hours. And so that's the same thing we're asking.
Why do you do you feel left out?
Yes, we feel left out. You know, for far too long, we've had things done to us instead of with us. And so we were excited when Dr. Battle began to announce every student known. And I think we were very clear that every student needs to be known, but every decision needs to be made together. And that's not happening.
Oh, it's not. It's not. The district, I know, I was following your tweets from back on May 11th, and you were very dismayed about what you perceived as a lack of a personalized learning plan presented by the district. Were they supposed to present one at that meeting?
So we have been speaking with the district leaders, with the central office staff, as everybody knows, about personalized learning plans.
All right. So just really wanted to highlight that. Just one, like the credibility of we're trying to connect the dots for our kids. But what was going through your mind when she was asking those like questions, Sonya, around like the why and what's been happening?
The why, what was going through my mind is as we listen to parents and grandparents across this city, and they talk about their precious children, mm-hmm. and how what's keeping them awake at night is the fact that they're uncertain about their futures. They're afraid. They know they haven't been getting what they need, and they feel hopeless. Mm-hmm. And that's what was going through my mind. That's why this is so important. These are human beings. Mm-hmm. These are not ideas. Mm-hmm. Our children shouldn't be looked at as impoverished and poor, Black, thugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Jacqueline says, don't they have the money now to invest in the resources and people needed to help these kids?
Girl, they making it rain, baby.
Making it rain.
They making it. Y'all, John, what you say about that money? You don't know what it was?
I don't even know what it smelled like. I mean, to have, money to the ceiling.
They making it rain. They don't change their messaging now. So we got one school board member. I was talking about funding. So now what she say is, well, I don't know why people try to say that money is not important. Girl, we didn't say that. You don't want to be walking around talking about money. Mm-hmm. We still saying the same thing we've been saying. What y'all gonna do with that money to help our children? Now that you got it. We've been asking for 2 years for a plan to achieve academic achievement in our low performing schools. I remember the day we sent that out via the Tennessean, I believe. And we asked for a plan back then for academic achievement in our lowest performing schools. Yeah. Whenever they did that consolidation, that's when it was.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what jumped in my mind when I was thinking about the why, it took me back. I went to a community meeting in Memphis one evening several years ago, and these parents were upset on how the school was treating their kids. And, they brought their kids out, the parents, we were meeting, discussing the issue, and they wanted to write some signs. And it was one kid, I remember he was in the 7th grade at the time, and he wrote a sign. And I want you guys to tell me what you think this sign says, but this is my why, like right here, and I'm gonna pull it up. What does that, if you guys are viewing this, tell me when you read this, what is it saying? And I'm gonna leave it up for about 10 seconds, but he was writing this message. He was very proud, and I looked at it, and then it hit me, the message he was trying to communicate. And that's when I knew we were in trouble, and we needed to really support these kids. And I'll take it down now. But when you see that, what did that message say to you, Sonia? What message was he trying to communicate?
Help me. I'm tired of waiting. The wait is over.
Yeah. The wait is over. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I've been waiting on y'all.
Mm-hmm. This was middle school, and bless his heart, like as a student, he came ready because he was like, I want to learn, like I want to be taught in school. And so we're like write that down, like what do you want to write? And he wrote the wait is over. And I use this as my North Star. I use this because for him, he wanted the wait to be over, but it's with what's happening right now, and that was several years ago. What's happening now, the wait is still going on.
John, why you do that to me?
Yeah, that's my North Star.
Donna Lawrence has a song called The Wait Is Over. And he begins that song by saying, I can't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That child was saying he can't take it anymore. He's been waiting too long.
Yeah.
And somebody saw that child writing like that every day in school.
Mm-hmm. So some people, they don't get it, they don't understand. But sometimes you got to give people the visual of why we do it. Elsie, Ms. Perez says, now the schools are interested in going out and boom, the school year's over. Nothing to please our children who have gone through so much in this difficult year. And we got to humanize it. And that's what I tell people, like, it's so easy to just write it off, right? I went to a graduation on Saturday, and it was a smaller graduation. But one thing I was like, this ain't gonna be no 100 students. But even if it was 5, those kids were so excited to walk across the stage. They were so giddy. I saw the nervousness. I saw the support they were getting, and I was like, but every child, we're not leaving one behind. And I see Shannon, she posted a picture of her kid. And thank you, Rhea. Bless that child. I need to find out where that child is. Because, again, that was all the way back in 2016. So he's probably just now getting to the mark where he would or should be graduating. Yeah. Yeah. But this is, and again, thank you. I see Ivory was on here. I see Miss Shannon. But this is why we organize. Like, this is why some people don't understand why we do what we do. And it's another letter that I'm not going to post of a kid at a local high school here that wrote a letter. It was the nicest letter written. He was really thanking his teacher for being so supportive of him. But as I read it, I was like, why did she even post this letter for a kid that's a junior in high school? And so when we think about literacy, when we think about a personalized learning plan, that child needed a personalized learning plan. Like, that child needed to say, man, you are so passionate in writing. We're going to help you become a better writer. And it's easy, Miss Shannon. Miss Shannon says she's tired. But what I'm gonna press upon you, Miss Shannon, is we can't do this on our own, like we talked about last night. Like as parents, we are strong, we're fierce. I read Rhea's op-ed. Rhea did not back down. Rhea did not take no for an answer. Rhea did not accept status quo. But then she got with other people who agreed with her and who realized there was a problem. And that's how we're changing it. And so when I think about Shannon, like we got to do this collectively. And yeah, that's why this work must continue. I agree.
Yeah. I think what's so hurtful is that we got people who actually say that this is not happening. Y'all, there are people in the education landscape, system protectors, and people who don't put the children first, and people who are so out of touch that they actually will look in your face and say that that sign didn't say what it said.
Mm-hmm.
And that children do know how to read and they know how to write. That we're doing publicity events. That assessing children in test scores don't matter. That our children are bad. That you're bad parents. And it's happening like this because we just Black.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't care. All we want to do is rap.
Mm-hmm.
Just telling you what people say. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
People say that.
I'll tell you, and just going back, because I think we did the event, maybe that was Wednesday night, but we did the youth summit at Mount Carmel Church. Shout out to Bishop and Lady Campbell for inviting us, giving us a chance to just be a part of it. But those kids, those students were powerful. And what I remember from the youth summit is the last thing they were telling us, if they could talk to their parents, what they wanted to get off their chest. And a big part of it was like making sure they knew that people cared about them and gave them the space. But a lot of these kids look at it like people don't care. And when I see that letter written or that sign that was made, it's kind of hard not to understand where they're coming from, because letting them get to this point where they're not going to be successful post 18 is like passing the buck to society. And so when we connect it to the school to prison pipeline, if you get out of school and you can't read and write, where can you get a job? How can you progress? How can you afford to live here? How can you sign a rental contract? How can you go and sign for a car? How can you, Sonia, how can you go get your driver's license? And so a lot of us, what will happen, we get pulled over for driving with no license. And when we get pulled over, we got to go to court, but we get into the system right there. And you can never get your license then because you start getting tickets and you start getting fines. And by the time you look at it, one dude told me he owed $10,000 to get his license back.
Because then you can't read and then you don't understand the law. There are education laws right now that are going into effect that are damning to our children, to all children, Black and white, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Damning. Y'all know what the word damning means?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damning to our children.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, one thing that I always like to say, this is not about us versus them. It's not about parents and teachers. You know, somebody said, if they would get off welfare, like I would be able to get more money or something. It's like condemning, pitting people against each other, right? So it's some really good teachers out there. Like shout out to Miss Stroud, my 11th grade English teacher. You know, shout out to Miss Weaver, my first grade teacher, Miss Trammell, my kindergarten teacher. Like, I have Miss Frensley, who was my ninth grade world history teacher. These teachers were killing it. Like, I still remember how they treated me, right? But I can also talk about some more teachers, Mr. Myers from geography, like teachers that I knew that didn't care. Teachers that were very repetitive with other students of telling them what they were not going to do in life. And so some people jump on and say this and that, like, this ain't about a brand. This is not about a teacher brand. This is about our children. When they writing the wait is over and you look at that, like, that parent brought their kids because they knew something was wrong, right? But there are tons of people who look at those writing assignments in the third grade, in the seventh grade, and just say, check, they passed the buck.
Right. We always talk to parents about issues and problems. Can I break that down?
Break it down.
Everyone under the sound of my voice has had a problem. Problem with them not following IEPs, that's a problem. Problem with them not communicating, problem with school lunch, a problem with a teacher. Those are examples of problems. We have to address things at the issue level. There's so many problems. If you don't get it at the issue level, it makes it hard to get rid of all of the problems. That's why a lot of you are having problems with IEPs. They're not following your IEP. If you address it at the problem level, you'll still have millions of kids who are not having their IEPs done, or millions of kids that are not getting the communication. The issue level is that they're not receiving a quality or excellent education. And so how do you make that happen? And it knocks down your problems. The problem is a system failure. If we look at this broadly, it's the system that is the issue. And that's why we specifically have campaigns around education issues and not problems, because it's hard to tackle them. If you cut it off at the issue, you won't have all of the problems. I hope that helps everybody, especially those who have gone through our fellowship, and especially those of you that are having a lot of problems. And that's why we've got to have a collective movement to tackle the issue. There's many IEP groups. There's many, all those things. They still fight for the same thing. And not to discount what they're doing, because we need them too. But if we don't cut it off at the issue, we'll just keep having the same problems. Hope that makes sense to people.
No, that makes perfect sense. But it's that partnership too. Like, as you talk about, some of the fiercest advocates I see are IEP parents. But one of the reasons why they're fierce, because they've been trained when they step into a meeting, it's like the arena, and they're only by themselves and everybody is surrounding them. And so they have become accustomed over the years, like, I already know what I got to do when I get in this arena, because they're not going to do what my child needs. They're going to go through this meeting and they're going to let me walk out with nothing happening.
Well, those laws were not created with parents. So I even talked to a parent yesterday, Carolyn, who is a part of the EFAC group, leadership with Tiffany. And she told me that she had a meeting once before with a district leader who said they're not going to change what they're doing just because parents want them to do it. See, we got a system failure, and we've got a policy problem where parents are not included. Like they keep doing things to our children instead of doing things with us. And so that's therefore you got all these policies, and that's why our mission is geared towards demanding equitable education policies and practices, because the policy level and the practice, the standard operating practice level does not include parent partnership, the voice. We know our children. And a lot of the parents, like Tiffany and like Anna, are subject matter experts. And nobody's listening to them. That's why generally I don't even have a problem with teachers.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't even listening to the damn teachers. They ain't listening to them. They not listening. They not listening to the teachers. They not listening to them. A lot of them are subject matter experts. A lot of them know that our reading curriculum is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They have to protect the system so they don't lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Lucas Hall, that was on our speaker series, was fired for speaking out in Georgia about the poor literacy curriculum. She was fired.
Yeah. One thing that I remember from last night, Saeed, then I want to play some from one of our fellowship alum on the national NBC Nightly News. But one of the parents, you know, she's been listening in. She's come to one or two events. And I think last night it dawned on her. And then she recognized, she said, I was a preschool teacher. What I was doing in the classroom, the scores went up academically and they still got rid of us. And I think she don't like the school administration because she was like, how can something that we're doing is working for kids and you guys not support it if it's showing up? And I think it was a dawning moment for her. Like, it's not about teachers. Like, it's about the administration who controls. It's like kids, right? Like our kids, right? They don't run nothing in here. They might think they run some, but at the end of the day, as parents, we're running our household. And I think that's just important, like for me to continue to say, like, that's why we have to come together. That's why we have to advocate. As I see Candace saying, the school is against you and your child in the IEP meeting, like, because it's not in their best interest to fully serve. It's expensive.
They got to protect their company,
Mm-hmm.
their paychecks, their jobs, their livelihoods. They see and they know a lot of things and they're afraid. They're afraid. A lot of them are. I'm gonna tell the truth. And a lot of teachers that I talk to, they're afraid they're gonna lose their job. I mean, they struggling. Like, I can't lose my job. I know that this is happening. I know that this don't really work. It is a system. It's a leadership. It's a school board problem.
Mm-hmm.
They got 3 responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
They need to ensure that academic achievement is where it needs to be, a budget, and to be the boss of the director of schools. So those are the people. That's why we got it. That's why we've got to watch who we put in positions. And we're a nonpartisan group. I just want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But your vote counts. You got to get out and vote.
Yeah. And furthermore, people don't really think about the school board, but it's $1 billion budget a year. 927 to 34 million. But again, that's not including the federal grants that come in, the nonprofit grants, the donations in kind and monetary. And so this is big, like $1 billion a year. And that's why we have to pay attention. We have to advocate. And one of the things I want to highlight, Sonia, is one of our parents, NBC Nightly News. Like, I've watched this parent. I started paying attention to her maybe November, December, when Torbis was saying, oh, you need to meet this parent. And to go from there to parent meetings, to events, to graduating from our fellowship, to be doing NBC Nightly News. Like, I want you guys to check this out, and then we'll talk a little bit about that message. Let's see.
probably one of the hardest things I've had to do.
Full-time jobs.
You need help, Bob? It was probably one of the hardest things I've had to do.
Working overnight as a medical assistant and during the day, helping her 3 children and 6 others in a learning pod. You think the children advanced?
Children absolutely did not learn anything.
Now, this Nashville mom and thousands of parents like her in Tennessee are wondering if their children will be left behind. A new state law says that if a 3rd grader fails a standardized reading test, they will be forced to repeat the grade unless they attend a summer program and agree to tutoring. Tennessee joins 17 other states with similar reading retention policies. But parents like Sparkle say these laws do more harm than good.
But y'all are setting them up for failure, wanting to hold them back, teaching them exactly what you're teaching them there, which is nothing.
It's a controversial policy, but one that experts say has merits.
Retention is not universally harmful to students, clearly has strong benefits for many students in the years immediately following the retention decision.
And while the pandemic has focused attention on lagging literacy, it's not a new issue. Statistics show even back in 2019, 65% of Tennessee 4th graders were not reading at grade level. The majority of those are children of color.
Not all children are receiving a quality education.
Sonia Thomas is a parent who's teaching other Nashville families how to advocate for their kids.
The state and other states around this country have failed to teach children how to read. If we don't have any other right, we have a right to be taught how to read, and that is not happening.
Sonia chose to hold her own son back a grade and feels parental involvement is crucial.
This is about partnership. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It shouldn't be. All children are different.
Now, across America, parents helpless that their kids will be held back. Rahima Ellis.
Shout out to Sparkle, telling the story.
Yes.
Many.
Yeah. And just the honor, I got a chance to just look at it being filmed. And the funny thing, I know her interview lasted an hour. I know your interview lasted an hour, and it got wrapped up into 2 minutes, really 45 seconds each.
Yes. Yes. She asked me about my son. So I want to get some context around that.
Yes.
About holding my son back. I knew that school wasn't going to be worth a quarter. I'm just going to tell you. Man, when COVID-19 hit and everybody was chasing their tails, I went into action. I got on the phone with his daddy. I got on the phone with his school. I did my research about retention. But most of all, I sat down with my son. I knew that folk didn't know what they was doing. And so, as a family, we decided, first of all of the high schools that are around here are not a good fit. I am terrified even going into the fall. I still don't know what school I'm gonna send my son to. I still don't know what high school my son is going to. That also played a factor, a huge factor in me holding him back, because when he arrived at Liberty, he was reading on the 2nd grade reading level, and he has shown progress. And I was determined that he was not going to leave that school only to go into a hell of an abyss of uncertainty and something that would damage that progress that he made. He made it. He worked hard. His teachers worked hard with him. And so we made a decision, and I have no regrets. Because I don't need to say, y'all know how school went this year.
Oh, yeah.
I was high-fiving myself. Girl, you called that one right. I was like, you called that one right. Wasn't no way I was finna see him to a new school. A school that's low performing.
Wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening over here.
Yeah.
Y'all done got me a few times. You ain't gonna never get me again.
Yeah. I see Latia checking in. How you doing, Miss Stewart? I know you was skating. I was like, man, I saw the picture. I was like, Miss Stewart didn't come to play on them skates. Like some people were, showing up for support. I was like, but some people came to shut her down.
She was cute too. I know you saw me fall. And what I do, right over there, turn them skates in. Put my tennis shoes on.
Yep. Shout out to Visha Hawkins, our former program director. She put on a skate night, a mature folks skate night. And I just saw some pictures and it just warmed my heart. I see Chaos checking in. We ain't seen you in a while, Mr. Chaos. We looking for you to bring some of that havoc with you, man, or a poem. But what do you guys think? I mean, it's really discussing. We had the Scruggs who did the Politico. We had Sparkle who recently did NBC Nightly News. And as we noticed, this is not a Tennessee thing, right? They got a collective action, right? They are outsmarting us if we don't even realize. It was just like, nah, people just think this is in Tennessee, right? That lady said it's in 18 states and growing. And it's in legislatures that legislators that have probably had the same political ideologies. And so they are taking collective action against our kids and we don't even know it.
The question is,
what's that?
Where has it worked? I thank God for Miss Ellis. I think she's going to do some more reporting. Okay. That's what she said. We talked about that. We talked about where has this law actually worked? Who has it actually benefited? Now they have one of the legislators talking about it benefited people. Child, who? Give us some data. So he didn't tell it. If you go back to the interview, he didn't provide you with no data.
Yeah.
He just said that it's shown. Show me.
So one of the things that I've just learned just listening to you when you talk about the decision to hold your son back, it wasn't just about the decision, right? Like you guys met and you guys came up with what to like make sure like he is progressing. What did you come up with?
We had a plan.
It wasn't just about holding him back. And I just heard you. I was like,
it was an informed, collaborative. I talked to Macy over at Liberty. I talked to teachers. I talked to Daddy. I internet Google. I looked at data around here. I followed my gut, and I looked at my son and said, "Okay, this is where you started. This is where you are. What do you think? What does
that sound like we've been talking about?
Personalized learning plan. Just the right fit for CJ. And let me tell you something. Wherever he go, it must be a fit for him.
Yeah. So, and that's, we try to get practical and appreciate you guys chiming in. I know Miss Shannon says, no, it's not. I just learned the federal level doesn't care. Where do we go now?
We organize. We develop you. You've got to jump in there and you've got to learn and take action together. Parents, you can't stand on the sideline. We got to learn first. We had a training last night with parents. We have to train. Just like if you play NFL ball, you can't just go out there and tackle somebody or run a play. You got to learn. You even got to learn everybody else's position in your role.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We organize. We develop. And then we demand.
Yep. So we're working on it. And so one thing, guys, if you guys can follow, I know you see it down here below, but follow our Twitter. And so one thing that we're trying to do is get our Twitter followers up because we're using Twitter to organize. There are a lot of good people on Twitter who follow Twitter. There are tons of people who follow Facebook, but Twitter, if you have not followed us, and we'll follow you back. but it's at Nashville Propel. We just make it real easy. But follow our Twitter stream. And that's one of the things that we worked on with parents last night. And I really enjoyed it. And so you had some people on there who ain't never even thought about signing up for Twitter, never used Twitter, but in a matter of 20 minutes, not only did they sign up, but they did their first tweet. And that was strong. And shout out to Rhea Groves for leading that. I see you, Sasha, organizing. There we go. Come on now. Somebody was paying attention in class. But this is what the work is about. It's using the tools that we have in front of us. I said they created a whole rebellion and a movement in Egypt using Twitter. You know, in some countries like China, they even restrict the Twitter. Like you can't even tweet certain things that are negative against the government because they got filters and it'll just block you. And so social media is powerful because it allows you, when people talk about going viral, it allows you to get your message out in a fast and concise way.
Look at Trump.
Yep, look at Trump. They had to take Trump off Twitter because he was using it to his best ability.
Genius. I see the genius in everybody. I don't like him.
You know?
I see the genius in everybody. And I think some things he did was brilliant.
Come on now. Whether I agree with it or not, you got to respect it.
Put some respect on it.
Yeah.
I giggle sometimes. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, you got to use your power.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talked about this last night. You got to be safe. It's like a gun is powerful, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have the right to bear arms. But you got to use that power safely, and you got to be smart and strategic, and you got to have the right tools. And sometimes people miss out on those things. They don't think about those things. So, you know, having the tools that we need makes us powerful. If you're not changing something, then we need to look at how powerful.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Yes. We got work to do. We got some big things that are coming up this week and next week. And so many of you guys who have gone through our fellowship, just be on the lookout from your organizer. And we'll end with the same way we started. And Sonia, any last words before I pull up and just put us on the last, like the guiding note that leads us out?
If you're not in the game, get in.
Mm-hmm.
So those of you who are listening, I know Sasha, no, but my girl that I was talking about her hair wasn't Sasha. Latia.
Yes.
Well, my other girl, the pretty hair. I know y'all Latia had some tragic things to happen to her, and we hope that you're healing. Let us know what we can do with your family. With my girl at Miss Baker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's why you got to have a movement of parents, because things happen.
Yep.
And then Miss Shannon says she's tired. See, when one of us is tired or down, the other holds us up.
Yeah.
So they've been down and they've had some things going. And so we've had to hold it up for them. So get in the game, guys. When things get clear, get back in the game, because we need you. We can't do this by ourselves. And we're working on some great things to help us to better support you guys.
Yep.
And so we'll be reaching out to several of you to get some feedback, because feedback is important, MNPS. When you're making a plan, you get feedback before you implement the plan. See, we modeling what leadership means over here. So get back in the game. The team is getting it. We're going to get in the lab in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be calling up on some of you guys for feedback and for partnership and ideas. And let's get it. Speaker series. Monday, we have none other than Miss Emily Freetag. She is the former Assistant Education Commissioner She is now the CEO and a co-founder of Instruction Partners. She will be talking to us about high dosage tutoring. What does that mean? Tutoring is okay, but it is not going to get you the outcome unless it is high dosage. Now that's over our head, right? What does high dosage mean?
Right.
She's going to break it down because everybody across the country is talking about high dosage tutoring. She's going to break it down so that we understand it. She's going to be a partner and break it down to us. See, that's not partnership if it's going over everybody's head.
Right.
Team. So she's going to be a team, help us to understand what high dosage tutoring looks like. And then she's going to help y'all to figure out what that promise was for the promise scholars.
Okay.
She's going to help everybody figure out what the promise should be, because ain't nobody told us what the promise is.
Amen. Amen. And so I'll end on my point with just not another kid. The wait is over. As we do Nashville Propel, parents requiring our public education system to lead. We want to make sure it's not another kid who writes this out in good faith and not realizes that it's grossly misspelled. Again, that kid had the heart, the dedication. He just didn't know what he was doing. And that's why we got to continue to fight. The wait is over. All right, guys, we will see some of you guys later this week. We'll see most of you guys at the speaker series, and then we got a couple of more events coming up next week as well. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.